years and more. Today we have Gaurav with us live from New York. Gaurav has completed his master's in civil engineering from Cleveland State University, and he's currently working as a project manager in New York. He also runs a YouTube channel for helping international students. So, hi Gaurav, welcome. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for inviting me and spreading some light, like what's going on, what's happening, and it's always my pleasure to help international students, and it's always fun to meet new people, talk to them, and help them and guide them, like what is actually is. So yeah, thank you for the introduction. I'll just quickly give that I'm from a civil engineering background. I'm a structural engineer, and right now working in Manhattan as a project manager, as you said. And it has been like almost 3 years I've been working. I graduated in 2017 December from Cleveland State, and since then I've been working.
Right. Awesome. Awesome. So let's just dive into the questions from students, right?
Yep.
Okay. So the first question, which is asked by a lot of students, is how will the new visa restrictions affect students who are currently applying to universities in the US?
Okay, so first and foremost thing I want to clear that this visa restrictions are not for students. They are not for F1 visa holders or the ones applying for OPT extension or OPT. So these bans are just for the H1B visas who wants to come from India to United States, and also who are not stamped and they are in the they are not in the United States. So it's not affecting any of the students, even if they want to apply for the visa, for getting a visa and come and study here for fall or next spring. It's completely fine. Just right now, the travel restriction is due to COVID
Mm-hmm.
and the consulates are closed. But due to this executive order, there is nothing which is impacting the student visa. So there is nothing to worry as an international student. It's just for the uh, visa holders and their dependents who are trying to come into the United States and who are stuck in India, who are in US and they have a valid stamp on their visas, H1B visas. They are also safe.
Right. So the students who are applying for spring 21 and fall 21, they need not worry about the visa restrictions.
No, they don't need to worry about any of the restriction because this executive order doesn't apply to student visas at all.
Right. Right. So would this restrictions affect students who are going to graduate from US universities?
No, it won't affect because this, if it's a STEM degree or non-STEM degree, they still have the OPT period. So this restriction is also not impacting any OPT period, which is optional practical training, which is allowed for STEM student. They can work for 3 years, and non-STEM can work for 1 year. So it's not impacting that also because you don't need any additional visa to
Hmm.
get a job and after you graduate. So that is also safe. So who are graduating right now, their biggest challenge right now is just to find a job due to this crisis which is going on. Otherwise, this executive order has nothing to do with F1 visa and OPT.
Right. Got it. So the next question is by Priyanka. If a student attends the fall semester online, will he be eligible for internships at the end of spring semester?
Okay, so as per the current rule, you have to be on campus and study for 9 months or 1 year in order to be eligible for getting an internship. But again, it varies according to the universities. So you might need to consult with the universities that if they will allow that or not. But it's a USCIS rule that you will have to spend 9 months on campus. So if you're doing 6 months on suppose you're doing fall semester 6 months for online classes and then you are coming in spring and then you are applying for CPT in summer 2021, then it's technically like 6 month on campus and 6 month online,
Hmm.
correct? Then in case you might not be eligible, but you should verify with the university. But till now, as per the rule, you will not be allowed to do the summer internship. That's the back step that if you start an online class. But again, it's not like it depends on university too, so it's always better to check with the university.
Okay, right. So we will take one question from the chat, right? So how tough is it to fly into the US right now during the pandemic, and when will the embassies open up?
Now, this is the like a very like predictable question, like when our US consulate open up. Like when 1 month back I used to answer this question, I used to tell that okay, maybe by the end of July or beginning August. But since like the cases have risen up in India right now, no one can predict when it's going to open up. And even if it opens up and you are able to get a visa, I'm not sure when the international borders will be opened for India to come to United States. So I think for fall 2020 it will be specific classes. Like some of the universities, they have taken option for students. Like they have given option whether you come in class or you attend online classes. But if you are still in India and you want to come here, I'm no one can predict happen because this all issue is going on, and it's you can't predict the situation. But hopefully by the beginning of August, the consulate should open. But this is just a guess. And after that, if you get a visa, and if the travel is allowed, I would say that yeah, you can come here and start your studies, because this we have to keep on living with this crisis. It's not like we'll keep on delaying. So if you are able to get visa and if the restrictions are lifted up, then if you want to come, then that should be fine.
Okay. So one more question from the chat. Which country is best for masters in civil engineering as per post-study opportunities? And I guess you can shed light on the post-study opportunities of civil engineering in the US.
So I also faced this question when I was planning for my masters to come here. So I think there was another option was Canada and Australia and many other, but Canada I didn't choose because I thought US is the best way to get into civil engineering and get many opportunities. Like to be honest, there are so many jobs available to the deserving candidates here after graduation for even for civil engineers. Like there are civil engineers and mechanical engineers, they think that there are very less scope when they go to United States, but it's in fact not true, because there are so many companies who are willing to hire international students. And I think US right now is the best place to come and study for civil engineering, because there are so many opportunities and job open positions. If you are like a right candidate, you will definitely find a job which will be suitable for you.
Okay, got it. So the next question is, what is the scenario of part-time jobs during studies?
Okay, so part-time jobs are only allowed if it's on campus, and off campus is strictly not, you are not allowed to do in the United States. You are allowed to do off campus as an internship only after you complete 1 year and you go on CPT. But while you're studying, you can do your on campus jobs, like you can do in research library, you can do in computer desk, or you can do with where they make the ID cards. So you have to apply for those jobs on campus on the university's website, and you will be able to work there on campus. But working outside campus, if it's not legal and if you're caught, then they will revoke your visa and you will have to come back. So that's very important points you have to consider. Like many students are like, no, it won't happen, we'll do it. But it's, I will not recommend that, because I've heard many cases where they do some checks and all these things. And if you are in trouble, you are investing so much money, you are investing so much of your time in this MS. And I would recommend that you get contact with the university, with the professors, try to get some research assistant positionships or anything you would like. Try to get connected to the current students or the alumni who studied, so that they can refer you for any on-campus job, and that would be the best way to go.
Okay. So the next question is on the same lines. How to get a RA or TA job on campus?
Okay, so I got a TA job for 2 semesters when I went there, and it was based on my GPA and the academics which I did in my bachelor's. But I would recommend that before when suppose you select one of the universities and you are sure of going into that university, you email that professor whom whose subject most interests you. They have all the curriculums.
Hmm.
So suppose you're interested in mathematics, and there is a professor of mathematics, and you can see that there are some TA positions available of under that professor. Then you contact your professor, tell him your background, you're interested to work. So in that way, professor knows you before you enter the United States, and they can tell you, okay, there is an available position, apply here. Or if there is not the case, contact the university and their specific like suppose you are from that department, contact them and ask for the positions and the deadlines. Or when I got the position, what I did was I went to the university and I asked them like when is the deadline, how to apply, and then I filled up the form and everything. So there are two ways, but if you are doing one step ahead and before coming you're
Hmm.
applying, then you have a better chance, because in fall semester there will be so many students applying, so you are like running out of chances. But in spring semester your chances get a bit of higher because there are less students coming. So it's like try to contact them before you come here and start your studies after you get your visa. But the other way is going after the university and then checking when is the deadline and applying. And according to your background, they will be able to answer you.
Okay, right. So now a lot of students are differing their intakes to either spring 21 or fall 21, right? And they want to know the advantages or disadvantages of spring and fall intake. So,
Okay, so spring semester, I came in spring semester. So only disadvantage was that in summer after the spring, like there was only I completed 6 months, so I couldn't apply for any I mean internship. So I had to, and I was not offered the summer courses as a master student in my at my university. So I had to waste those 3 months period of summers. So the only back step is like you have to spend 3 months without getting a job, and you have to pay your rent and you have to pay all the bills which are coming. So that is a back step. And the other back step is like suppose you graduate and then you that is for H1B visa application, but that's not. You will still get 3 years to apply for H1B if you're a STEM graduate, but it's like you get more time to settle at your work after you graduate and get a job if you are coming in fall semester. Uh, like for example, if you graduated in August and you start your job in September or so, then
hmm,
the H1B application processes begin in April. So you have that time from September to April at your work to convince them that you are performing good and they should apply for your visa. So that is like a later phase, but that
hmm,
all are the advantages of coming into fall.
hmm,
And again, the other one is like you will complete 1 year, like from August to next summer, and then you can apply for internships, and you won't waste that 3 period gap of summer. So that is the coming into the fall. But also disadvantages, as I said, many students come in fall semester,
hmm.
so the competition increases of getting a TA RA position. So that is like they both have advantages and disadvantages. But as you can see from my example, people say spring semester is bad. I came in spring, I got my internship, I got my TA positions, I got full-time positions. So it's nothing like that. If you are willing to get it, if you are working hard for it, and
Hmm.
you are eligible, then you will get it. So don't worry if you are not been able to go in this fall and you are applying for spring. Don't see that it's a disadvantage. It's also an advantage, and it's good either way.
Okay, okay. Right. So the next question is how and when should I apply for scholarships?
Okay, so there are two ways. I mean, there are so many scholarships, but like the first is a merit-based scholarship. So that one is you can get it according to like what's your merit and what's your background. There is a need-based scholarship which you apply when you are applying to the university. So And there are so many other websites, like there is like scholarships.com, there is many more. Like I have like bunch of
Hmm.
like specific 5 6 videos made up on my YouTube
Hmm.
channel regarding the scholarships. So they have all the details of what all websites are there, which websites you should go and check your eligibility. And the other ways is like apply as soon as possible, like before you uh, apply to the university. After you get your scores, start looking for scholarships and apply them. Don't wait for the last moment, and talk to the universities what are the steps to apply specifically to the universities. And for the other websites, like online website, as I said, scholarships.com and many more, which I have like few
Hmm.
of the names on my channel. I can't remember right now, but those websites evaluate your profile, and on based on the profile, they recommend you that okay, you are eligible for this scholarship, and then you go and apply to that scholarship. So there are many scholarships available for international students, and the sooner you start, it's the better. So
Hmm.
once you get your GRE and TOEFL scores, just be right on it, and before you accept any admits, try for other scholarships and select the university which gives you the good scholarship amount so that your expenses don't go too much higher.
So we have one question from the chat. How are the career opportunities in data science? Any idea of that?
Data science is not exactly my
Hmm.
field, so I think I will truly, honestly speaking, let you should connect to the
Right.
alumni who have done data science, because right, I know my friends and they said the scope is good, this and that, but it won't be a exact opinion which I'll give. So
Hmm.
I don't want to misguide you
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
mislead you. So it's better to
Right.
get connected to alumni who have done the data
Right.
science.
Sure. Sure. So, what is the situation of job opportunities during these times?
Okay, so the companies are still hiring. If you are deserving, it's people. There were so many, like 3 to 4 millions of jobs lost in America, but they were related to all the restaurants or the food, all the other small jobs. Like they have impacted the engineering jobs, like IT sector and stuff, but not that much. Like suppose I'm still seeing people hiring international students. They are getting interview calls, so it's not like it has stopped. It might have decreased the pace, the way they are hiring, but it's still going on. You just have to figure out like which which colleges, which companies are hiring, and according to that, you will be able to find it. But they are still in this situation. Also, they are still hiring international students, so that's not a bad situation right
Mm-hmm.
now. And if some companies, what they did is they reduce the hours. Like suppose they were working full time, they reduce it to like 20 hours per week for the international students. And USCIS officially announced that if you're working part time in this situation, it is still considered in a legal status, so
Hmm.
you don't need to worry. So it's all good right
Okay,
now.
right. So, follow up on that. Are the offices starting to open up?
Yes, every state they're opening up phases wise. In New York, it's like right now it's phase 3, but all the offices and everything like related construction or any other mechanical or IT sector, they were continuing from work from home, but now they're starting to open up. But some prefer like 30% workforce in the office,
Hmm.
some prefer 50%, some prefer alternative days. But yeah, everything is slowly opening up, and I think it's pretty much good going. But now again, when they open up, the cases are rising in some states, so they are being more careful because people were locked down for 3 months and they like
Hmm.
freaked out and they want to go out. So it's like
Right.
it's a hard situation, just like India,
Hmm.
right? It's as soon as it opened, people just crushed outside.
Yes. Right. So we have a question from Konda. Australia versus the US for civil engineering.
I will choose US. I considered Australian options before, but I thought that United States was way more better option because it gives you much more opportunities, and you got OPT, then you can get H1B visas, and then and it is more advanced and so many job opportunities here. But I will also recommend you to talk to some Australian like university international student, like, and
Hmm.
one I'm describing here, so you can connect with me later on too and can compare. But I think according to me, US is better choice.
Okay, right, right. And for the students, we have more sessions with seniors in Australia coming up. So yeah, so
Okay.
yes, stay tuned. Yeah. So yeah, we have one question from Prabaljeet. In which semester should I start preparing for GRE in college? So I.
Well,
Hmm.
as soon as you want. Like, suppose you are on your seventh semester and you feel like, okay, I have a bit of time and I just have little bit of subjects. Start, because as soon as you get your marks, you have more time to figure out scholarship or the university selection options. You are not in a hurry to be like, okay, okay, I got my score, I need to get into next intake, so let me select whatever I want. But if you suppose you have 6 months before you complete your graduation, then you will be able to get like a 1 year, and the scores are valid till like 5 years and 2 years, so it's good. You will get more chances. So to be honest, it's like seventh or eighth semester is also fine, but seventh semester is more
Hmm.
safe, that you get more time to. You don't have to waste time after graduating and 6 months gap you take and then you start. So it's better to start early, start gathering all the things, and seventh or eighth semester should be good enough.
Okay, okay, right. So we have a question from Pratik. I have given GRE two times and giving for the third time. How much will this affect my profile?
They usually see the final score of GRE, so it's not like how many times they won't ask you in a visa interview or anywhere where you apply, like how much time did you give. But if you're not confident and if you retake it many times, it's completely fine. But make sure that you try to score much better and better, and you have selected the university and you know like the cutoff mark, like, okay, I need to get 310 or 320 to get into this university. So I don't think so it will affect that how many times you give. It's the final end result which
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
more important, so that should be fine.
Okay, so we have one question from Ashish. Cal State versus University of North Texas versus Texas Tech. So, if you could answer, how should students compare different universities, right? Location. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
so there are many factors to consider. It's not only just one factor. So you can see at the location. It's important because when you graduate, you might have to find the industry which is around your university, or then there is ranking which matters. But ranking only comes into point if it's like top 20. If it's like beyond that, then all the universities, I think professors are very good and they are very, that should not matter that much. So it's like it's always the first question of all the students, like how should we like uh, select? Is it location? Is it ranking? Is it the other things like the job opportunities? But as I know, I was in Cleveland, but I got my job in New York. So it's like it's all over the United States. They don't see where you passed out from unless and until you have like a MIT or top 20 ranking university. So I will say that go for the university which is the cheapest and which is getting you the scholarship if you are getting anything. Like if you spend too much money on your education and there is no return of investment, then there is like no use. So it's very important to select the university according to their uh, options of the scholarships or whatever the amount they are, like what are the expenses or what are the tuition fees. So it's you just select based on what options you have. No matter where you are going to find a job if you are eligible and if you are confident that how you will do in your possibilities. Like in short, it's
Okay, right. So we have a question from Prithvi. What are the chances of getting rejected for dual masters application?
it so the university applications depends on many factors. It's not just GPA of your bachelor's, but it also depends on letter of recommendations, your SOP, and many more criterias. Like they divide 100% into like 30% your academics, then 30% in extracurricular activities, 30% in your SOPs and LORs, and 10% of all the scholarships which you're eligible for, or anything extracurricular which is very like ordinary. And so it's all divided into those phases. Like, and many of the students who don't have good GPA, but they do have good extracurricular activities or internships, so that makes their profile very even and they get into top ranking schools. And some of the students who have good GPA, who have good uh, GRE and everything score, but they lack in that extracurricular activities or your letter of recommendation or anything, then they might not get into university. So it completely dependent on all the various factor combinations. So if you're weak in GPA, try to get good score in GRE and TOEFL. And if you have good internships or your academic uh, background or your internships, then please use it as your strong point and try to uh, evaluate the universities accordingly.
Okay, okay. Fine. And from the same person, um, he has got admit for a dual masters, right? So he has already done masters in India and is applying for masters again. He has got an admit from UAB, right? So he's asking how will it affect his visa interview, or how will it affect his visa?
So one of my roommate, like he masters in India, and he was doing his second masters with me. So in his visa interview, they had no questions while you are doing the second masters. But if you run into the situation and if you that why are you planning to do the other masters over the Indian masters, so you can just say that like there are more opportunities and there are the the amount of studies or the experience you get from the professors in United States and professors in India is completely different. So for a better opportunities and better like in-depth knowledge subject, you are going for your masters in that specific field. So there are many answers which you can give, but it's your personal opinion too, what you consider why you want to do it again. So
Right, right. Okay, okay. Right. So, how is it like working in New York? How is the city and
oh,
everything?
it's amazing. I have been always like I was in Ohio. I came when I was in Ohio. There were no people around, and I was like, "Shit, where did I come from?" So I was feeling a bit lonely before, but then I got my internships in Manhattan, New York. So I went there, and I was like, "Okay, this is it. I want to come back here for my full time job." So I applied, and I finally got there. And yeah, it's working is fantastic. You get to network with so many people here in New York. There are so many people, and many big brands, many big companies, they work in Manhattan, and it's like amazing experience. The only downside of living and working in New York is the expense. Like you have to pay a lot of rent. Your half of your paycheck as soon as it's coming, it's like it disappears because you have to pay so many things. The rent prices are high. So as a student, it's great to come here and enjoy New York, but if you're not financially prepared, you can be like I was paying like half the amount when I was in Ohio. So it's a great experience, but it's pretty expensive here.
Okay, right, right. And over the past 1 month, we have seen a lot of protests in the US regarding the Black Lives Matter movement, right? So, have you or any of your friends faced any racism in the US?
So this is the great question, but till now it has been all United States. I have never faced any racism. I think my opinion in this is like Americans don't discriminate you on basis of race. It just comes like uh, many protesters says that the jobs are going away. They are not getting their jobs because of their race or something. But it's like simple logic. If you're educated, if you're knowledgeable, you will get a job,
Hmm.
no matter where you're coming from. So my experience, I've never like dealt with any discrimination because I've worked with so many people at university. I was a teaching assistant, I was a tutor, and then I was doing internship. All were Americans, and they were treating everyone, every other race, as a very equal people. So I don't get that protest, but yeah, it's you have to depends on person to person. Like, but according to my experience, there was nothing which was like shocking to me.
Hmm.
It was just one thing which was shocking to me when I moved was the saving and like 1 hour like in eastern time rotate the clock when it's fall spring and
Oh,
it
okay.
was a bit confusing for me. It was a shocking and it was like weird that why they like saving the daylight so that it doesn't get dark too much. And it's the one the ones who are planning to come to US, you will experience if you're in eastern zone, because here US is so big that you have like three time zones here. California is different, New
Hmm.
York is different, Texas is different. So it's a huge country.
Yeah, right. And what about the winter in New York? Is it too harsh or how is it?
Winter in Ohio was too harsh. I mean, there was too much snow because it's more towards Canada.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
there is like, and New York, it's like in this last year 2019 there was like only not even a week of snow here. There is it gets little bit chilled, but not that much snow. So New York is like a good weather, and right now it's pretty good. It's very sunny.
Right, right. So we have a very interesting question here. What will be the effect due to the upcoming elections impact on IT and Indians?
Well, elections are like a hot topic right now. Everyone whom I talk to, they're like, "What if Trump's get elected? What will happen? What if this get?" It's like unpredictable right now, but doesn't matter who comes. It's just the policies which I think this is all the visa restriction is just because the elections are coming. Once it is all normalized, everything will be going back on track. Because as you see, there are so many H1B uh, visa holders. Like those are the people who are making America more and more strong because they have so much
Hmm.
talent. If Americans don't study, don't get their degrees, and don't are not if they are not that smart enough as the other people, then I don't know how America will
Hmm.
run. So I think immigration has been an issue from beginning, but they cannot just stop all the immigrant visas because the companies right now they are very afraid that Trump took this step because they cannot hire more new H1B visas till December. So uh, I don't think so. This will last for a long, but whosoever wins in the election, I think it will go normal back once everything is over. I think
Hmm.
that way.
Okay, 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 right. So we have 5 minutes more left, and we'll take couple of more questions, right?
Okay.
So, what is the average living expense per month as a student in the US?
Okay, so that's a good question. It's like dependent on the location where you're staying. Like, but on an average, if you like, usually students stay like with roommates. It's not like you want your private
Hmm.
privacy and the whole house to yourself. So it's like around. You can consider when I was in Cleveland, it was like around 400 to 500 per month for rent, and then the food expense you can add up however you eat and stuff. But it's like around you should consider 600 to 700 a month. Again, depends on location and your expenses, how luxurious you want to stay,
Hmm.
how much party you want to do every weekend. It all depends on that. But yeah, usually the median rent is around like 400 to 600 dollars a month, and then varies according to the location. In New York, like it's pretty much
Hmm.
high, but if you stay with more roommates, then it gets lower. So it completely dependent on that.
Okay, okay, right, right. So, uh, Sunny has asked, scholarships are based on CGPA or GRE score, right? What is the most contributing factor to get a scholarship?
So there are various types of scholarship, but the merit-based scholarship is purely dependent on your academics and extracurricular activities and your GRE scores. But there are other scholarships which are given based on your extraordinary performance in like extracurricular activities, or if you're good in some athletics, or if you're good in some kind of specific role, then there are scholarships available which you have to showcase and you have to apply on specific websites. But yeah, usually when you apply to a university for your scholarships or a TAGA positions, then purely your GPA and your all the GRE scores, they matter when it comes to scholarship.
Okay, right. So, on an average, how many years does it take for an international student to pay off his student loan?
Okay, so as I also took the loan and I was able to pay it like within a year,
Mm-hmm.
but again, it's like how much and how you spend. But once you get a entry level position, after you spend your expenses and stuff, you should be able to complete it in an year or two. That is like a median average. So suppose you are a STEM student, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you are coming here taking a loan of like suppose 25, 30
Mm-hmm.
lakhs, then within those 3 years of OPT, you will definitely be able, even if you don't get a H1B
Mm-hmm.
visa, in those 3 years, you will be able to uh, get your loans paid. And if you are from MBA and you spend like 40, 50 lakhs and you only got OPT period of 1 year
Mm-hmm.
and you don't get H1B, then it might get some tricky because you can't pay off that much amount in like 1 year. So if you're a STEM student, you have more chances of paying it off within, if you stay like very restricted, very less expenses, you can pay off like very quick. But it again, like you might have like stayed like a poor guy in your student journey. So you, when you start earning, you want to spend a little bit, you
Right.
want to go on trips, and so you have to budget it. But yeah, if you're a STEM student and you got a job, then in OPD period you'll be easily be able to pay it
Right.
off.
Okay. So we are at the end of the session. So let's have some fun questions.
Yeah,
What do you miss most about India?
food, food, family, and uh, like my friends. But the most thing is like food is I can get it from Indian stores here. Like there is a store called Patel Brothers, which is right around the corner from here, and they have like delicious frozen foods. You just come home, cook it, and like it's you don't have to worry about it. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, that was the first ever thing which I missed was food and my parents. Like this was my first time coming here,
Uh-huh.
and I was not in hostel before. So and friends, of course, here it's not like okay at midnight we go out with friends to eat some food and have some fun. So that's the most, like I still remember and I get a smile, and sometimes it's like emotional, but
Right.
it's
Right.
fine. It's life. It goes on.
Yeah. And how is the Indian community in the US?
Oh damn, that's like so many, like there are so many events and so many community that you won't feel like you are outside like US,
Uh-huh.
because there are anywhere you go there are so many Indian communities. They have so many events and organizations going on, and they are willing to help. It's not like okay, you are new, you figure out yourself. But as you know, our culture is like helping, and
Hmm.
we stay together and stuff. So especially in New York, New Jersey, there are many Indian communities which are getting along. They celebrate all the festivals, and it's a fun time if you are like into those festive things and you miss India a lot.
Hmm.
So that won't be a problem.
Okay, right. And what is the thing which you like most about the US?
It's like it's lifestyle. Like you get Saturday, Sundays off. But in my case, sometimes I have to work because I'm like in construction, so
Hmm.
we might have some construction going on and stuff. So I might have to do it. But yeah, lifestyle, and you get like many more. There is like systematic work and no more like I don't want to say, but in India we have like many stages of getting the work done, right? Here it's like upfront. You just, if you have to do it, you do it, and there is no discrimination or eligibility, or you have to go like, okay, you cannot do if you can only do the work if you have this kind
Hmm.
of eligible status or something like that. Here everyone is treated equally, and you get to hang out with many people. And the other thing is, I stay in New York, right? So there are so many tourists from around the world. Like I have friends from all over the world, from Germany, from France, like Albania, like, so there is like, you get to meet so many people, and you get to build a world community that uh, it's like amazing.
Uh-huh.
Cultural experience is the best thing, and networking, it's amazing. So you should definitely come out to US and like explore all this thing. If you stay in India, it's like you have people, there are many less foreigners
Hmm.
who come and
Hmm.
visit, but here you get to open up yourself and meet so many cultures that you'll be able to explore more, and it will be a fun thing.
Okay, right. Right. So I guess that is it for the questions and all. So Gaurav, it was great having you here. Right, the conversation was
It
awesome.
was amazing. I wish will do it again
For sure,
sometime.
for
It
sure,
was it was
for
great.
sure.
Thank you for inviting.
Yes. Let us do one on Instagram in some days or weeks. Right. Let's do one on Instagram.
Sure,
That would be
sure.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and if anyone has any questions, they have my Instagram ID. I'm sure they can find it on Grad Space, and they have my YouTube channel. Like, you can go and look for the videos you want. And if you have any questions, please feel to reach out to me, email me, or DM me on Instagram. I'll be willing to help you guys and get you some insights, whatever I know, and or will connect you with other people who know better than me. So
Right.
it's like it's a community who are helping international students. So feel free to reach out to as many as people you can, and we are here to help you.
Right.
Grad Space is doing that great job by uh, getting all people together, and I like their concepts, and it's amazing. I hope it grows very well, and many students will be like benefited from this.
Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks a lot. And guys, all the links to Gaurav's Instagram and YouTube is already in the description, so you can go and check his channel right now. Right. Great.
Yeah, I'll send you my LinkedIn also
Yeah,
if
sure,
someone
sure,
wants to like join me on
sure, sure,
LinkedIn or
sure,
anything.
sure.
Yeah.
We'll post that in the comments or the description for sure. Right. Okay then, Gaurav. Have a nice day.
All right.
The day is
You
just
too.
started over
Thank
there.
thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Yeah. It's a Sunday, so let me relax a bit before I go back to work tomorrow.
Right.